YouTube. Flag 1122, back again after a long hot day at work. Got a little bit of sun today. Gotta try to rehydrate, you know what I'm saying? I'm smoking my I think it's called a Leonessa Artistica, little billiard. It's got kind of this odd rustication, kind of looks like a gator skin rustication there. Kind of rad, dig it. I use this pipe to smoke a lot of flake tobacco. That's what I'm doing right now. Smoking some McClellan's Dark Star pipe tobacco. I had never smoked this before, and I had some in my cellar, and I watched Kirk's video while he was smoking Dark Star, and I got kind of curious, thought I'd give it a go, and you know what? I like it. How's that ketchupy quality that all McClellan Virginias have? But I like this one. It's a little bit, it's got a little bit more dynamic personality to the Dark Star. It's Virginia and Carolina leaf, hot pressing and stoving. It becomes rich, cool, and dark with selective spicy quality. Yeah, I'll give it that. You know, I'll have to smoke it several times to get my full impression. But right now, I like it. Anyway, that's not what I want to make a video today. It's time again, another classic pop review. It's been 2-3 weeks since I did one. I'm just going to keep rolling along there. I really love this series. Love talking about music. In the background, you're hearing one of my all-time favorite groups from really the early 90s. We're talking about they formed in 1990-91, so a little bit more recent than the music I usually talk about. Anyway, here we go. Electronic. And this is their self-titled album right here. Electronic. It's just called Electronic. And if you don't know anything about Electronic, quick history about them. It was founded by Bernard Sumner, and Bernard Sumner is the lead singer, lead songwriter, leader of New Order, the band New Order. I did a review on New Order's Low Life a couple of reviews back, and around the late 80s, early 90s, he just got a little bit burnt out working with New Order. He kind of hit a wall creatively on what he kind of wanted to do, so he didn't quit the band. What he did was he started another band, and he called it Electronic, and it just kind of gave him a better outlet for doing other projects, you know, maybe a little bit more electro-driven songs on Electronic, I guess hence the name Electronic. Also joining Bernard is Johnny Marr from the Smiths, so if you're a big Smiths fan, you'll like this no matter what. It's got his fantastic guitar riffs on it, just beautiful guitar melodies, and Bernard asked Johnny to join this two-man group here, and Johnny obliged. I know they were friends before that. I think Johnny had worked a little bit on a New Order album or so. I'm not sure about that. I think he did work on a New Order album prior to hooking up with Bernard here for Electronic. Anyway, this is track number 2. This is called Reality. I love this track. It's just really nostalgic, kind of high energy, early 90s kind of techno pop. And it's a sound that is just all over the radio today, and these guys were true pioneers of this sound. Of course, you still get Bernard Sumner's beautiful vocals, and I think he definitely is an underrated songwriter. His songs, he writes a lot about, I mean, the first layer is sort of sickly, sweet pop music, but if you peel away a few layers, he's talking about a lot of pain and sorrow, and sort of like a fine line between being like a family man and still being like a party animal. I think these songs definitely on this album reflect that. You know, he was getting a little bit older in his life. He already had a family, and he still wanted to go out and kind of live the wild life, but he still wanted to have his family. So think that's a very interesting mix right there. But this record came out in 1990, but I think it was released in America in '91, and it met with varying degrees of success. It didn't find, of course, the following that New Order had or the Smiths had on Johnny Marr's side. You know, if you're a Smiths fan, there's a lot of quality music there. I've never been a massive Smiths fan, just never been huge on Morrissey, and I know a lot of people would say, "Oh God, that's blasphemous." It's never really been my cup of tea. It's a little bit too morose for me. I like upbeat stuff. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, if you haven't heard of electronic, you know, it's one of my highest recommendations. It's just good, fun, summertime pop music that has amazing rhythms and nice melodies, you know, nice chord changes. Interesting thing about this album right here, if you're a Pet Shop Boys fan, Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe lend a hand in this album right here. Neil Tennant, the lead singer of the Pet Shop Boys, does some of the backing vocals for this album right here in particular. And I know Chris Lowe, his partner in crime in the Pet Shop Boys, does some of the arrangements and some of the just the general producing of the album. So it's kind of a collaboration of sorts, this electronic band was. It was an experiment. You know, Sumner just got a little sick of being with New Order and he wanted to go off on his own. And what he did is he just kind of surrounded himself with his friends. I know he'd been friends with Neil Tennant before this, and they created this album, which I think is just awesome. They weren't very prolific. They didn't last very long, you know, throughout the 90s. I think their next album, I've got it right here, it's called Raise the Pressure, and it was released in I think about 96, so, you know, a little ways in between the two albums. But, you know, it wasn't Bernard Sumner's main directive. He was still with New Order, and he released several albums with New Order in the 90s. Some of them were fantastic, like the Brilliant Technique, and some of them weren't as fabulous, like Republic. But then this is the last, to my mind, the last LP that Electronic released, and this was in '99. This is called Twisted Tenderness. This is a really much rockier, or rock heavy, if you like, sounding album. Well, I like this too. It sounds, if you like a lot of the things that New Order did in the 2000s, you'll like this. But I urge you to go check out Electronic. I don't think a lot of people are familiar with Electronic. They released another song that's not on either one of these albums. It's called Disappointed, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful song. And it's Bernard Sumner lead vocals, but Neil Tennant does guest vocals on that song. And to my mind, it was really only, of course you can download it online. My kitten is trying to jump on me over here. Hey! You can get it online, but it was released on the Cool World soundtrack. You remember that animated hybrid movie that came out in the early 90s, kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So you can find Disappointed on that Cool World soundtrack, and that soundtrack has a lot of cool stuff on it too. It has a Thompson Twin song that I really like. But again, check them out. You won't be sorry if you like 80s music, if you like synth music, if you like nice summer sugary pop songs. You'll dig Electronic. Anyway, I'm not going to be too long today. Just wanted to do another one of these. Relight my pipe here. Dark Star, it's a flake. Like I said, it needs some drying out time. I'm having a hard time keeping this lit. Should have left it out another 30 minutes or so. But, you know, Dark Star, I'm digging it. I like it so far. We'll see. That's all for me today, guys and gals of the Pipe Smoke community. Have a great evening. Enjoy your week. Happy smokes.